When most people think about bone health, the first word that comes to mind is calcium. For decades, we've been told that calcium is the foundation of strong bones. But here's the surprising truth. Focusing on calcium alone is one of the biggest mistakes seniors make. Without another key mineral, calcium cannot do its job properly. In fact, without this partner, calcium may end up hardening your arteries instead of strengthening your skeleton. This is why so many seniors suffer fractures despite drinking milk or taking calcium tablets. The missing piece? Magnesium. By the end of this video, you'll understand why magnesium is essential for bone strength, how it works, what happens when you don't get enough, and the simple steps you can take to protect your bones well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Bones are living tissue. They're constantly being broken down and rebuilt in a process called remodeling. When you're young, building outweighs breakdown. But as you age, especially after 50, breakdown gets the upper hand. That's when osteoporosis and fractures appear. Magnesium is central to this balance. Half the magnesium in your body is stored in your bones, where it supports structure and activates the enzymes that build new bone. Without it, calcium is misused, remodeling falters, and your skeleton weakens. Magnesium acts like a traffic controller for calcium. With enough magnesium, calcium goes into bones and teeth. Without it, calcium drifts into soft tissues, arteries, kidneys, joints, causing stiffness, stones, and pain. Seniors who load up on calcium supplements but neglect magnesium often end up with brittle bones and clogged arteries at the same time. Magnesium also activates vitamin D. This is critical because vitamin D enables calcium absorption, but it cannot function without magnesium. Millions take vitamin D faithfully, yet their bones remain fragile because the mineral that switches it on is missing. Science backs this up. Large studies show that low magnesium intake is strongly linked to osteoporosis. Women over 70 with adequate magnesium cut their fracture risk nearly in half compared to those who were deficient. Yet about 70% of adults don't meet daily magnesium needs, and absorption declines with age. Medications such as diuretics and antacids make things worse by depleting the body's stores. Symptoms of deficiency are often dismissed as just aging. Cramps, stiffness, fatigue, poor sleep, even irregular heartbeat. But behind these everyday complaints may lie a shortage of magnesium. Since most magnesium is stored in bones and tissues, blood tests rarely catch the problem. Another overlooked role of magnesium is in collagen production. Collagen forms the flexible scaffolding of bone. Without it, bones may appear dense on a scan, yet still break easily, like brittle chalk. Magnesium ensures collagen integrates properly, giving bones resilience and reducing fracture risk. This is life-saving, considering falls are one of the leading causes of disability in seniors. So, where do we get magnesium? Traditionally, from food. In the past, soils were mineral-rich, so vegetables and grains naturally contained more. Today, farming practices have stripped much of it away. Add in processed diets, and it's no wonder deficiency is widespread. The best food sources are leafy greens, like spinach, nuts and seeds, such as almonds and pumpkin seeds, legumes like beans and lentils, whole grains, and even dark chocolate. The daily requirement is around 320 milligrams for older women and 420 for men. Yet the average senior gets only about 250. On top of that, many take calcium supplements, throwing the balance further off. Ideally, calcium and magnesium should be consumed in about a 2-to-1 ratio. But many diets are closer to 4-to-1 or 6-to-1. Far too much calcium compared to magnesium. Here's a common example. A 70-year-old woman takes calcium supplements daily. She eats white bread, coffee, sandwiches, and pasta with few vegetables. This diet gives plenty of calcium, but almost no magnesium. Over time, her arteries stiffen from calcium deposits, her bones weaken, and one day she suffers a hip fracture after a minor fall. Sadly, this is the reality for thousands of seniors every year. But the good news is this: the problem is reversible. Restoring magnesium improves bone density, reduces fractures, and strengthens muscles, lowering the chance of falls in the first place. Seniors who raise their magnesium intake often notice better sleep, fewer cramps, improved mood, and steadier blood sugar, all of which indirectly protect bone health. Practical steps include adding greens, nuts, seeds, and beans to meals daily. A handful of pumpkin seeds or almonds can provide a significant boost. Choosing whole grains over refined options also helps. For many, however, diet alone may not be enough. Supplementation is often necessary, and the form matters. Magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate are well absorbed and gentle on the stomach. Magnesium oxide, common in cheap supplements, is poorly absorbed and more likely to upset digestion. It's also worth noting that magnesium doesn't work alone. Vitamin K2 is another overlooked nutrient that directs calcium away from arteries and into bones, acting like a GPS for minerals. Together with vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, K2 completes the orchestra. Without the conductor and harmony, calcium alone plays out of tune. Some worry about magnesium lowering blood pressure too much. In fact, magnesium supports healthy cardiovascular function. It relaxes blood vessels, steadies heart rhythm, and protects against high blood pressure. Unless kidney disease is present, moderate supplementation is safe and beneficial. Real-life results speak volumes. Seniors who struggled with repeated fractures despite calcium and vitamin D often see improvements once magnesium is added. In one case, a woman in her late 70s saw her bone density improve for the first time in years, after supplementing with magnesium glycinate and adjusting her diet. She also reported fewer cramps and better sleep. Why was magnesium forgotten? Marketing played a role. Calcium was easy to promote, easy to fortify foods with, and easy to sell as supplements. Magnesium was harder to test for, and deficiency often went unnoticed. Over time, calcium became the star, while magnesium faded into the background, even though it is equally important. The takeaway is clear: bones are not built on calcium alone. They require magnesium to direct, activate, and stabilize the entire system. Without it, calcium does more harm than good. Seniors are particularly at risk of deficiency, but also stand to gain the most by correcting it. So here's your action plan. Make magnesium-rich foods a daily habit, consider supplementation if your diet is lacking, and ensure balance with calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2. By doing this, you're not just strengthening bones, you're protecting your heart, muscles, and independence. Your bones are your foundation. They hold you up, protect your mobility, and allow you to live fully. Don't wait for a fracture to remind you of their importance. Start today by giving your bones what they truly need. Calcium is only part of the story. The forgotten mineral, magnesium, is what makes your bones strong again.